Hello. Just finished my shift. That's what I do for a living, I drive buses. That's all that. Yes, it's quite a lot of mega coincidences have been happening lately. There's quite a bit of it. For example, I was driving the service. There was a passenger that I hadn't seen for a long time. Now, I remember this person from way back, the late 80s, and this person used to get on the bus through the 80s, 90s, etc. And it was just by chance I just sort of like thought of this passenger, this person, and the blue, basically that's the very person I was thinking about. Now, I hadn't seen this person for many years. I don't really know them, but it's like you see people in the passing and I mean, there's more coincidences, mega coincidences as well. There's just, it's incredible. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just pause this for a moment because I'm getting to the yard. I've got to put the high vis on, so I'll see you when I get in my car. Right, I'm back in the car now. Yeah, I was saying there's like just so many unbelievable coincidences. There was one where there's a certain type of bus that we have, and there's a device in the cab, and I always wondered what it was, and I was always wondering what is that again? What is this little device here? And we've had these buses since about coming up for 3 years, and in all that time we've sort of glanced at it and thought, oh, what that is, kind of. And then one day, just last week actually, I said, right, I'm going to ask what that is, what this device is, and before really, I was going to ask when I'd finished that shift, but during my shift that day, a member of staff came on wanting to borrow the cab for a moment so they could check something. So yeah, I had time to, on you come, so he went, and the very thing that he was going to check was the very device that I was curious about. I just never ever got around to asking. Never, because it was just on the cusp of asking before. I wasn't I'm curious, but it wasn't enough to ask. But that day, I said, right, when I finish, or when I meet somebody that's likely to know, I'm going to ask what it is. But before I even got to that point, the member of staff came on and went to that very device that I was going to ask about, and I knew what it was from there on. Now it's almost like it's just that I've had that's another example. That was ridiculous. It's crazy to think that's just that's beyond. I mean, for those that are obviously sceptical about this, just say and just dismiss it as a coincidence, etc. That's fine, not a problem. I'm only just making my own videos on my own channel, just putting out how I want to express myself about it. I'm not going to put this out to offend anybody or to counteract any theories. I mean, a lot of people might just think it's merely a coincidence. I personally think there's more to it than that. I think it's more synchronicity. But that's just my thought, and it's just not going to discredit anybody that thinks that it's impossible. That's fine. That's just an open-minded person that I am. I'm not saying that those that aren't open-minded neither, because it's easily I'm learning as well. When I put out stuff like this, it may seem supernatural or whatnot. It could be taken as offensive to those that think that I'm just doing it without evidence, which is fair enough. I could recognise that point. But I'm not saying either way that that's right and I'm wrong or they're wrong. I'm not saying that one's right and one's wrong, basically. That's just my view on it. But for that to happen, that's just one of many. I've had quite a lot of these massive coincidences, especially with the phones. There's been times where I've been about to text someone that, I'm just going away to text someone. And before I get a chance to, they've actually texted me on the very thing that I was just going away to text them about. Well, that's happened before. There's quite a lot. This is actually not a bad evening, so I'm going to get out here. I'm going to go somewhere a bit better, a bit more. You might get a wee bit more of the scenery. I'm actually going to go down to the Dundee Docks, and you'll get to hear me blethering on. And it's good for me. I just finished a long shift, so I'm just unwinding, and I'd rather unwind just offloading some of the stuff I want to put out there. So I'm going to do that and go for a walk, so you could hear me blether on, and you could maybe get a wee bit of the scenery as well. So I'm going to get out of here because it's not exactly that. Well, it isn't this, and it's an acquired taste. I like buses, but I'm not allowed to fill them in the yard, so I'm going to have to get out of here. And just in my car at the moment. That behind me, that's the back roads. You're not going to see anything confidential there. So, right, I'm going to make a move. I'll see you you'll see me at the docks. Right, I'm down at the docks, but unfortunately it's just a little bit breezy. Now the problem with this is that I've just finished my shift and I haven't got my camcorder and using my mobile phone. And the microphone here will just pick up any wind noise and just amplify it. And you won't hear a word I'm saying. So unfortunately, I can show you a bit of the scenery. It's not, it's more acquired taste. I like this industrial like. Oh no, I can't do it on this. I thought I could change it. Anyway. Yeah, I thought I could change the camera while I was doing it on here, but it's not like my mobile phone. But that's a nice gas refinery, and it's basically follows along East Stock Street. You've got the big oil drums there. And further back, I would have liked to have went for a walk and spoke to you at the same time, but as I say, the wind would be just too noisy. It's not my camcorder, unfortunately. It's a lovely, nice place to. I like the kind of atmosphere. This quiet. Well, I've always been interested in this machinery and industrial sort of stuff. Like sometimes I come down here just to chill out as well. Anyway, I'll turn it back around again. Yeah, it's probably not going to come out very clear, but never mind. The main thing I was just going to talk about was the these amazing stuff like the mega constants go into the, well, if it's that, it's more to it, I believe. There's also another thing I spotted earlier. I've been noticing it fairly lately, is there's like a kind of substance in the air, in the atmosphere. It's like spitters of rain, but it isn't. It's like, instead of being rain, it's more of a kind of resin or residue or something. I've noticed it on windscreens, and I'll try and see if I could show you on here. So it might not be clear on the camera, but there's these sort of, this is my windscreen, but you get these, it's like raindrops, but it isn't. It's more sticky like. It's maybe not going to show here, but I've been noticing it a lot anyway, on the bus windscreens and on my car windscreens, and I've been thinking, do I need to put my wipers on? Is it raining? But it turns out it isn't. It's some sort of sticky residue or some sort. And it's, I think it's another, there's one right there. It's no rain, but it's, I don't know what it is. But just lately I've noticed that. Yeah, I've been noticing that lately. There's another thing that, now, in a believer in what might be described as, or there is a phenomenon called the Mandela Effect online. Now, I've experienced something that resembles. In other words, what's online, what's called the Mandela Effect online. I've experienced my own experiences that could be called, or could be referred to as, the Mandela Effect. There's an example where I've got a mate that I've known him for a wee while, about a decade. Now, it wasn't until just a couple of days ago. What we've done is, it's a bit of a long story. In a nutshell, basically, I never knew that he wore glasses. But it turns out that he wears glasses now. And I discovered that in a video that I made. We went on, which is another subject in this one, right, I'll get to that, but we went on this, if you look back at my YouTube channel, I'd done a Strathmartin Hospital, but I just called it Ghost Explanation. Basically, I linked up with another channel, and we were just exploring the old derelict Strathmartin Hospital in Dundee. It's on my YouTube channel. And during that, we were going around the inside of the building in the dark. It was the early hours, it was midnight. There's been loads of stories about being haunted, etc. So we went in. The other channel, Explores, Black 156 Explorers, they're experienced in it. And I linked up with them. And they had the sort of like I can't remember what it's called. It's something it's meant to pick up spirits or something. Now, like I say, it's well, we're doing that anyway. But it's just we've done a bit of that as well. But we're mainly just exploring and just having a look. And I had my infrared camcorder on, and my mate that was sitting opposite me, basically, it just sort of didn't dawn on me at first, but he had no, it was him that spotted this. He had his glasses on his up on his head, like up, and I turned the camera around when we were doing this, and when he got back onto the camera view, his glasses were down on, back over his eyes, and he doesn't remember doing that. It was him actually pointing that out to me, and then when he pointed that out to me, I thought, I didn't even realise he actually had glasses on, and that's how what you could call the Mandela Effect, how it could work. It's like, it's like it's always happened, but it's kind of difficult. It's like you could look at it as maybe, come on, I'm not even going to bother, because as soon as I go into that, I know that there's people out there that is just going to start thinking that and going against all science, etc. And I'll just be making offence to them, but I'm not going to even bother explaining, because I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. What I do know is basically what I remember and what I don't remember. And I know that I've known him for a while, and I don't remember him ever wearing glasses until I saw my own video. And it kind of dawned on me, and then when I saw him the next day, he said that when he was watching the video, he had his glasses up, and the next minute he had them down, and he does not remember putting them down. Which is like twofold, because I don't even remember wearing glasses. But it just didn't dawn on me. So that's one thing that I've discovered. That's my personal one. I mean, if the viewers that are watching this or listening to this or whatever, it won't mean really anything to you, because you don't know the person that I'm referring to. It's just something that I've experienced. So you wouldn't know any different unless, because you know them, but I don't know anybody else that speaks about the Mandela Effect face to face. I don't know anybody in the flesh, as it were. I'm aware of it online, but I'm not aware of anybody else that. Well, I've got somebody that I know somebody that is open to all sorts as well, but that's a different story. But that's the thing. I mean, you could just think that. Well, you could think anything, really. I don't have any proof, basically. It's only just on the strength of what I'm saying. But I do know that there is things online that kind of resemble something that I've experienced, and that has been referred to as the Mandela Effect. And I just call it like the Mandela Effect phenomena. Now, I've got to say this every time I mention this. I've been talking about the Mandela Effect online. Is that if you're interested in the Mandela Effect phenomenon, I would strongly, I do say, do your own research into it. So if you're interested in the Mandela Effect phenomena, do your own research into it and come to your own conclusions. And I'll say that every time. because it's up to you whether you're interested in it or not. I just know that I've experienced stuff like, I mean, I've known the guy for years, and I've never known him to wear glasses, and it wasn't until I saw our own video, and he actually came to me about something else that he doesn't remember putting them down, and I was like, oh gosh, that's something. And then I didn't even realise he wore glasses, assessed them, you know. But that's another thing. I'm going to just stop for a minute. This memory's going to fall up. Bear with me a minute. Yeah, I was just offloading files before the memory was filling up. I've opened a couple of windows as well. I'm still down here at the docks because it gets warm in here. I had to close the windows so that you could hear us. If any wind comes into the microphone, you won't hear a word. I've opened a couple. Hopefully you'll still hear us okay. What was I saying? I mean, I've never known of glasses. But then there's another thing as well. Now, online, there's a thing called, there's something referred to as the Mandela Effect residue, meaning that there's proof of something that once was that apparently has never existed. Now, I've got that. There's even things online that are referred to as that, but again, I could only relate to some of the ones online. In other words, for example, the spelling of Volkswagen, that was online. So when I came across that online, I related to it because I said, yeah, I don't remember it ever being spelt with an E at the end. Now, I didn't come across that myself. I went online and saw it, and I could relate to it, and I said, yeah, that's right. I remember it being spelt with an O at the end. That's how I remember it. Now, I'm not saying that's right way of spelling it or the wrong way of spelling it. That's just the way I remember it being spelt. And I could come across that online, and I could relate to it. Now, the ones I came across myself was a lay-by in Kingoody Bay. This is on the edge of Dundee. Now, I've got a picture, and it's quite bizarre, really, because the photograph that I've got is apparently a lay-by that I remember to be there, to have been there, and it supposedly has never been there. It isn't there now, and it looked back on Google Maps, going way back to 2009, it doesn't show it on there neither. Now, the funny thing about this is that the photograph that it must have, that I would have taken, because it was on my camera, right? Now, I remember taking all the photographs. When I've taken pictures, I remember the ones that I've taken. Now, this picture, well, there's two of them actually, I showed a friend these photographs. It was actually my mate's car from the 90s, the mid-90s. And I gave him these pictures to show him his old car. And he said that he remembered the lay-by at Kingoody. Now, he remembered that, but I don't remember taking the photographs, but I remember the lay-by, and so does he. And now that's the two pictures that's in my album. Nobody else has taken them because I was the only one with the camera back then, and they were in my photo album. All the other photos I remember taking. These two, I was always aware I had them, but again, this is how this what could be referred to as a Mandela Effect phenomenon works. By the way, that was the window that was squeaking. It was just a bit. That's a busy road there. It kind of like seems, it's difficult to explain. I've done a video on my channel about the Mandela Effect. I've done a few actually, and I go into some sort of depth with it. It's quite difficult to explain, especially when I wasn't really planning on doing a video. I was really, when I saw my mate earlier in the day and he told us about that, and I said, oh, that's just mind-boggling. So I thought, well, I had a long day anyway, so I was just going to ravel on about it on here, and at the same time I'm chilling out. But the pictures, I had them for all the time since 1995, 26 years. I've been aware of them, and I've looked at them before, and it's weird because I've never thought about where I've taken them or where it was. I'm always aware of the pictures being there, these two. I know all the rest of them, but these two was just accepted by me that I've had them and didn't think of them of any more. This is bizarre. It's difficult to really explain. But my mate saw them, and he remembered them being at Kanguri. No, he just said it was Kanguri Bay. No, he's not really... to say that he believes in the Mandela Effect, I couldn't say. But I believe in something... I believe in something that's like what's referred to online as the Mandela Effect. Now, the mate still looks for other explanations. Now, I've done that as well, and it doesn't really make much sense that it's literally impossible to have happened, so to speak, but there it was. I've got a picture of it with the car in that lay-by. Now, it doesn't really give any definitive proof. Now, this is where it gets annoying, because if I was to show you this picture and you don't know the area, it wouldn't mean anything to you. There isn't any proof of it being down at Kanguri Bay. There's nothing. I just know because you look at the road layout, it sort of matches that area. The road and the trees change, I know that, but the road layout was kind of like it was down there basically. I would look at that now that he's told me that, and I say, yeah, I went down with it and I've cross-checked it and everything. I've cross-referenced it. It seems to be, yeah, that would be right. That's the lay-by. On the strength that he remembers it being there, and that on the basis that I've looked at the photo that I've taken that I can't remember, which is bizarre because I remember taking hundreds of other photographs I've taken, thousands of including mobile phones as well. But back in the 90s, I got hundreds of pictures, taking pictures back then. And I look at the road and it's the same profile as on the photo. It looks like, yeah, it looks correct. But it doesn't sort of, it's not enough. It's also taken in poor lighting as well. So I've got proof of what you might call Mandela Effect, or could be referred to as Mandela Effect residue. Now, the other thing about I've noticed with this phenomena is when I show people it, I say, look, there's proof, but it doesn't matter. I've got the picture there. It doesn't matter how much proof that there is. If it's not going to be accepted, it will not be accepted. They'll just look for other explanations, like the road was dug up, blah, 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 conventional explanations, you might call it. Which is fair enough. I'm not going to say that they're wrong or anything like that, but it just kind of like doesn't add up, because I've said on many occasions that it shows on Google Map that this lay-by wasn't there. I've been there since then when I had a certain car I bought after that, 2009. I bought it in 2011 actually, and I've been there in that car, in that lay-by, but it still doesn't gel. I keep saying that, it could be this, it could be that, but I've said, well, Google Maps show it not being there. I remember it being there. The picture that I've got was taken before the Google Maps one. That was taken in 1995, 26 years ago. Now, even explanations like the road's widened, etc. I've checked to say, well, if they widened the road, it would affect the other driveways down there. It wasn't like that, and then say, oh, well, okay, maybe it's not, maybe you're right, but then they'll go back to it again and say, oh, maybe the road's widened, and I said, well, no, it can't be, because it would have affected the Hulk's laybys. It's like they're just going to keep going round. They're not going to, I'm not going to say that they should believe it. I'm not asking anybody to believe it, and I'd never do it. I'm not saying this is how it is, or just basically just offloading what I remember and my experience on it. It's up to you what you want to make of it. That's all. I'm not saying that anybody's right nor wrong. It's just how I remember it being, and I've got pictures that was remembered by somebody else that you might say, you could think that they're sceptical about it, and remembers that lay-by, even though they could be thought of as being sceptical about it, the Mandela Effect. They remember it. I remember it. I know other people remember it as well, but just look for more of I don't know, just explanations that, well, I've obviously explored them, but they keep forgetting that I've said to them that I'd been there in my other car after 2009, about 2015 or 16, maybe even a bit later than that. It was actually 2019 that I discovered the lay-by had moved, and apparently I'd never been there, because I looked back on Google Maps in 2009 and it's not showing it to be there. I would say it wouldn't be much point in showing you the lay-by because you wouldn't know either way. And look, you might know. I mean, I can't say that. I don't know who's watching. You may know. It's lay-by. I say a lay-by to Kingoody Bay, but what does that tell you? You know, I know what I'm talking about because I know the lay-by, but it's the principle I'm referring to. You know what I mean with the Mandela Effect. But I could talk for ages. That's starting to fill up. I'm going to have to just round this off, I think. In fact, I'm going to just change this now. Yeah, I had to offload stuff onto the SD card. The memory's filling up on the phone. Yeah, the phenomenon of the Mandela Effect, it's what's referred to online as the Mandela Effect, and what I've experienced, whether the two are the same, I don't know. Because I don't know what it is. I don't know. I can only tell you how I remember things, and what's online. I mean, to not know that somebody that I've known for years to never have worn glasses is just, and expect to believe that I could just have not known that. Well, fair enough. Some people might think that in all the years that I've known this person, I just haven't noticed he's not worn glasses before. Fair enough. I won't accept that because I wouldn't be making. I just will not. I won't believe that I've not noticed I'm not wearing glasses before. Just like the lay-by, I've got a picture, ironically, that I have taken because my mate wouldn't have taken it. I had the camera, it was his car, there was nobody in it, nobody was in the photo, it was just a picture of the car. It was me, I don't remember lending the camera out to my mate. I can't think of any reason why I would say I'd give my mate the camera to take a picture of his car without me being in it. I'd give my mate my camera to picture me next to the car. But if I was picturing it for the car, then I'd be taking them. I wouldn't have given it to my mate and say, oh, take a picture. Because even if I did, I'd remember it anyway, because I'd remember the incident of doing that. But it's highly unlikely. But besides the point, that's a photograph that my mate remembers, and I know other people remember it. My dad remembers it, I remember it, my mate remembers it. There's a photo there that my mate remembers his car being in, which was down there. He's got reasons to remember that, like, but he's got lots of he's actually got stories that, well, that he's got stories that he could tell you that is related to that relating to that lay-by. That's how he remembers it. Just like I have a story as well that relates to that lay-by. I remember in 2018 or something, fairly recently, when I had my other car, not this one, I had a Mark IV Astra, and it was, I was sitting in it, and I had a chicken curry. And I was sitting in that lay-by. So I've got reason to remember it. But the other bizarre thing as well with this, whatever's going on, is when I used to go to the cinema, well, I still do when they're open, after the cinema at late nights, I used to come out, I'd be getting on for near midnight, it'd be late, and I would get in the car, I would go for a drive, I'd go down through Long Forgan and come in by Kingoody, and I would do that on quite a few occasions. I would sit by the Kingoody Bay, the river, on the right, just to chill out and have a drink of juice and that. Now, I always parked on that side of the road, the other side of the road, the opposite side to where the lay-by was, which is quite bizarre because even though the lay-by would have been near it, I believe, for some reason, or some strange reason, I'd never actually parked in it. It's like two, I'm not going to, well, yeah, it's been referred to online, like two realities going on at the same time. Now, I'm not putting it out there to offend anybody because I don't have any proof. I'm just saying it, and that's what's been said online. I'm not saying it's true, I'm not saying it's false, but I just wonder why I'd went down that way on quite a lot of occasions and parked on this side of the road, the opposite side to the lay-by. The wrong side of the road, if you like. It was obviously like late at night, so I was parking on the opposite side of the road, the driver door to the pavement next to the river. So why would I have never went into that lay-by, which is pretty bizarre, because it was, even when I had the other Astra, the Mark III, the two previous cars, I remember parking on that side of that car as well. And yet for that lay-by to be there, why did I end up parking it? Yet at the same time, I remember the lay-by being there and sitting in my other car, one previous to this, facing the opposite side again, going the other way. So it was on the the wrong side of the road, if you like, parked on that side, going towards Invergilby, not to Log Forgan. So I was sitting in the actual lay-by on the other side of the road. And I remember doing it, eating a curry. No, I can't be misremembering all these things. But some people will believe that. That's fine, you know. I won't accept that I'm going to misremember something. I've even got a photograph that, bizarrely, of all the pictures I've taken. I remember taking pictures, but these two, I've had them for ages, and for some reason I don't understand why I never thought much of it at the time. I was always aware of them, but when it was now, when my mate said it, then it can get you lay-by. Why did I not think of that before? But it's a pretty bizarre. The whole thing's pretty bizarre. I did go into an in-depth about it on my YouTube channel. That's, as I say, that was my video that I made, and it was just what I thought about it. It's pretty nuts, like, but I thought I'd just share that with you anyway. What I will do, though, that was a train. See what I will do is I'll get a breath of fresh air, I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you a wee bit of the scenery just before I finish this video. I did say I would show you something, rather than just watch me blethering on. Right, I'm going to show you. Right, so this is East Dock Street, heading towards east, towards Broughty Ferry. Now there's gas refinery. Got a big oil rig docks at the back there. Again, this is another thing about the Mandela effect. There used to be a scrapyard there until fairly recently. I remember it. There's the broken wall buses there, and apparently it's been there it's been away from there for years. But I remember it being there much more recent than that. But I look back at Google Maps and everything, even asked them, and it's been away many years, even though I come down here regularly. So that's another personal Mandela effect, if you like. My work's over that way. That's Dundee Law in the horizon. That's, you probably know about the railway line that runs along there. And it's quite a nice evening to chill out. You can smell the sort of crude oil coming from there. That's a big oil drum, so that'll be the pipes that are connecting the refinery. So for those that obviously don't, well, for those that may not know where I am, this is Dundee, City of Dundee, and this is I think it's Camperdown Road or something. It used to be Fishtalk. It's certainly down by, it runs parallel with East Dock Street anyway. So yeah, I thought I'd show you a wee bit of the scenery. I did promise I would, so it wasn't really about a scenic video, it was just more about unwinding after a long shift, and because that was like pretty nuts when I discovered it. My mate that I've known for years, he wears glasses now. How could I have missed that? Yet people will still believe that I'd missed that. But anyway, I'm not going to. And another thing, I'm not putting these out, I don't have proof, so I'm not putting it out there to, I've heard that people spend their life looking for proof in the name of science, etc. That's good. I always like science, I like proof, etc. I'm not here to say that it's wrong or anything like that, or debunk it. I don't mean offence in any way to those that think this is perhaps impossible because there isn't proof. That's fine. I'm not really asking anybody to believe anything, but in saying then just put this out here because it's my channel. I feel like putting out. I just want to talk about something that I want to speak about. My experience, because I've experienced something that's online referred to as a Mandela effect. I've experienced that on many occasions. I've got loads of them. Loads. I could go here talk for ages about it, but I'm not going to. That was just pretty nuts, like earlier the day when I discovered that. As I say, if you want to see that video, Strathmartin Hospital, it's earlier on my YouTube channel. Strathmartin Hospital ghost exploration, and it's in infrared, that particular part. My mate remembers he had his glasses up, and he looked back in the video. I showed the camera round, and then the next shot here, his glasses down, and he does not remember doing that. But there's other things as well in that video. I mean, but anyway, it was more the explanation more than anything else. But right, I went on long enough. So it's up to you what you make of it. Yeah, that's really all it was, just blather about something. But yeah, that was a couple of things today that just felt like I had to share. Okay, right. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye. Bye. Actually, and back again. That was about an hour ago. I finished there. I spoke to my mate that wears glasses now. He sent me a photograph. Right now, this photograph shows him wearing glasses. I asked him. I says, "How long has it you've been wearing glasses for?" It's been 2 years, and he sent me a picture, right, that I was there because we do bus restoration work, and he was driving one of the buses around the yard, around the premises where we do the bus restoration work, and I was there with him. In fact, it was me that was showing him. He's not got his license, so I was standing there supervising him while he was having a shot at driving the bus, right? So I was there, and I do not remember him wearing glasses. And he's shown me a picture of him in that cab driving it with glasses, and I don't remember him wearing glasses at all. I can't possibly have missed that. And another thing as well that occurred to me is that that person had done, my mate there, he'd signed up for a charity walk, and it was I discovered it online on Facebook, and I said, "Is this a joke? Really? Is he really doing this?" And he planned it for ages, and I've known him for a while, and I was never aware of that. So I surely would have known, but how could I have missed that? He'd done a charity walk. He actually worked 2 of the routes, the circular routes, the bus routes, for charity twice. It was a big deal. Like, it was about 56 mile, and he'd done it for charity. And it was in the paper, and now I'd seen him many times before this, and there was no mention of that. I was just stumbled across it online on Facebook, and I said, "Is this for real?" And he said, "Oh yeah, it's been planned a while ago." Now, how could I have missed that? So, no, the Mandela Effect, as I say, what's online referring to the Mandela Effect is I could relate to some of the stuff that's online. I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm not calling it anything. I'm just calling it what I remember. I see stuff online I could relate to, yes. I see things, the principle of it that's referred to online, like what the Mandela Effect is basically being described as. Well, I've experienced that firsthand. Now, I don't know if it's that. I just know I've experienced something that could be described as that. I'm not giving it a name. So I don't know what it's only just referred to as a Mandela Effect for a reference, a reference online. I mean, there is the story of why it's called the Mandela Effect, going into Nelson Mandela, etc. I'm not going into all that. And it's too short. I'm only here just to mention that bit there, that picture came through in the time that I last finished that video. Like I say, there wouldn't be any point in showing you the picture, because to you, I don't know who you are, but all it would be is showing you a picture with somebody wearing glasses. That might not mean much to you. It means something to me because I was there and I don't remember him wearing these glasses. But anyway, thought I'd mention that to you. So thanks for watching. Okay, cheers, bye.